Hello and welcome to the Friendly Fire Games Exploration Show. This is the game exploration on One Piece Odyssey that we have put off for 6 weeks,
It's been a
5 weeks. We did the first 3 chapters back in January when the game launched, and then we beat the game, and we're all like, this game's trash. We're never going to finish this recording. And we just have struggled to find the time.
I got COVID for the first time in
Yeah, Rob got COVID. Tom and I have had horrible work schedules. Tom is not here now, so R.I.P. Tom.
Yeah, his kid's got a birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Harrison.
Happy birthday!
I didn't know kids had birthdays. It's news to me.
They do. It's crazy. It seems like they're always happening. It's just there's always a kid's birthday. But this is the chapters 4 through the end, chapters 4 through 9 of One Piece Odyssey, developed by Ilka. We talked about them at the first episode. Okay, main takeaways from the rest of the game. Chris.
It's shit. There was a brief section that I liked. I think it was chapter 6, where it was just like cinematics and a few fights in between the cool cinematics. But otherwise, yeah, it was all bad to me.
Ryan, which I realized I didn't introduce anybody, but who cares because they know who we are. Chris, Ryan, and of course Rob. So, Ryan, what's your main thoughts on this?
It's really bad, folks. This is this is not good. This is right down there with Chris Tales. This is a dumpster fire, honestly. By the end of the game, yeah, chapter 6, it was super quick. The cutscenes were nice. The fact that it was there was no backtracking for once. We didn't have to backtrack. It's just I thought they were gonna make us backtrack just to get credits, guys. I thought they were gonna make us backtrack to get credits. All right.
They kind of did.
They did a little bit. You have
Yeah.
to go back and talk to everybody after that boss fight.
Yeah. Rob? Yeah.
I wish I could say it's fine. My perspective on it has been like it's aggressively mediocre.
Yeah.
It is like the benchmark, what defines a 5 out of 10.
I think it's being generous.
And that's what I was talking about with Chris and Ryan before we were recording just intermittently. It was like, I think I'm the most positive on this game, and like it has redeeming qualities. There aren't many, and they're few and far between. But like, it looks really good.
It does.
It's stable as hell. I didn't encounter a single bug in that game. The music's good. The sound effects are good. There are things about it that are okay, but that's like kind of the benchmark. And it was, for me, it was like a 6 until the last fight.
Yep.
And then I said, fuck this game.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much have the same sentiments. It's a little bit rougher for me being such a big One Piece fan.
Sure.
And having, all this love for this series, and, I got the shit tattooed on my body. So it's like, I take the lore and I take the characters pretty seriously.
So this game is an affront to your tattoo.
It is. It's just an affront to One Piece. I think they do a really good job of writing the characters. I think they do well of getting that across. But the way that story is structured is like it's meant for One Piece fans who are caught up. And like if you're not caught up, there is so much shit that you have no context for. So if you're playing this game, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, one of my favorite moments is in chapter 8, when you're in Dressrosa and you are playing with Luffy and Trafalgar Law and Corazon shows up. You guys have no idea who the fuck that is or what the meaning behind that is or why that's so significant or cool or emotional. And it's just like
watch the cutscenes that
on everybody.
That you can unlock that Chris had mentioned last time. I did watch each and every one of those. Yeah. And like it helped with some context, but kind of like we were talking about last time and just maintained through. This game is trying to do too much narratively.
Yeah.
And it does not have the loop to sustain, like to prop it up. It like if it had consolidated a lot of the plots into just like doing 2, maybe 3, then it probably and they had time to flesh it out, it would have been more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Yeah.
stupid lame villain that we saw coming literally from the first cutscene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we all knew that he was going
yeah,
to be
we
that guy.
called that we called that shit from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was bad. And it was literally like
And then
friendship is the
they do
answer.
a huge lore dump of his character at the very end of like why he's doing this, who he is, and it's like, why would
And
you
it's
save
not
this for the
interesting at
last
all.
minute?
Because it's
Yeah.
a twist. No one saw that coming. Audio's a bad guy. But see, how could you see that coming? He's constantly laughing and smiling and friendly. There's no way he could possibly be antagonistic.
Yeah.
It was dumb.
It was not great.
It was a
Not
dumb
great.
villain.
I think the best thing it has going for it, I thought the combat system was fun. I know that you guys just pretty much auto battled it, but I did enjoy that like idea of having 4 locations and swapping between.
It was cooler on paper and for the first couple hours, and then it just got kind of rote.
It's very samey. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't evolve it or really add much to it throughout the game is the biggest issue. I never used auto battle, but it was a lot of just like, where's the area that has the most people? Okay, move Luffy there because Luffy has the best AoE stuff and just destroy everything.
Yeah. It's also an absolute shame that they give you Brooke and Frankie like at the end of the game. You don't even really get to enjoy either of them.
Yeah, those two are like some of the best in the entire cast. I really enjoyed both.
They're super cool, and like Frankie's ability to like like do the radical beam and all that shit, and then Brooke has the ability to like upgrade everybody's attack power. And it's like, okay, cool. We'll give you this literally at the very end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep.
It's a shame.
Poorly paced. It's a very poorly paced game in a lot of ways, mechanically and narratively.
But if we want, we can go chapter by chapter and talk about things that we liked and did not like about it. Chapter 4 was exploring Water 7, City in the Sea. So if you don't remember, because it was 6 or 7 weeks ago at this point,
I remember backtracking.
Mm-hmm.
There was a fuck ton of backtracking.
Yep.
And there's a lot of characters and a lot of story stuff within Water 7 that is just completely skipped over, really. Like, you don't really get a sense of like the relationship between Iceberg and Frankie. They're basically brothers. And like they were brought up by this like crazy shipwright named Tom, who was Gold D. Rogers' shipwright. He was the one that made Gold D. Rogers' ship, and Gold D. Rogers is the one who basically set off this entire pirate era. And so there's a huge backstory between them. So Frankie becoming, Tom's apprentice and then becoming the shipwright for the Straw Hat Pirates is incredibly significant because it mirrors exactly what happened with Gold D. Roger back in the day. And like all of that story is completely lost in this section, but they like try to hint at it at the end when they're like building the Sunny and all that. It was super frustrating.
My
I
note
didn't
from
get anything about. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
My note from chapter 4 is that Kaku has the Minecraft Usopp nose skin. And I vaguely remember the perfectly square rectangular nose as opposed to Usopp's round one.
Yeah.
Notes
and then he turned into a
madman.
giraffe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about
I love
that.
Luffy just laughing at him, and the second he turns into a giraffe.
That was great.
Funny.
He does that all the time. It's great.
That was a great scene.
It's super fun because, spoilers for the manga, but those characters are back in the manga right now. And they're super interesting and fun. So whenever they show up, it's always a good time. Another thing from Water 7 that they kind of touch on is like all the stuff with Nico Robin and like how significant she is, because she was a part of this group called Ohana, which is like Ohara. I think it's Ohara. But it basically a group of archaeologists who were studying the past, and like that's what the world government is trying to keep everybody from figuring out is what happened like 100 years ago. And that's why the Gorosei or the Five Elders are like such an important role, because they're always like trying to keep people like in the dark about all the crazy shit that happened 100 years ago. And so like they destroyed her entire island, and like she's the only sole survivor, and they don't like again, they hint at it, and like they kind of talk about her past in that flashback when you're at Ennie's lobby, but they don't talk about how significant it is of like her being captured and being a part of the Straw Hats, and the world government wanting to kill her, and her wanting to die because she doesn't have anybody anymore. And she's trying to find a family, and how significant that was that Luffy and the Straw Hats go there to save her. It's an incredibly emotional moment in the anime and the manga, and they just like gloss over it. It's
what if we
frustrating.
didn't have nuance?
Yeah. It's like they're trying to raise stakes without really showing the stakes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to inject stakes and tension just by the way the character is reacting to something, but it has no bearing on the player whatsoever, just because like the context of the story is like, hi, who are you? Okay, you're bad. Okay, let's fight. Bye.
Yeah, do you guys remember Spondum?
No.
Yeah, exactly. He was in Water 7. He was in Ennie's lobby. He popped up. He had this like word bubbles at the bottom. You don't ever see his character, but he's incredibly important to that storyline. And they're just like, we're going to show his face and word bubbles and him talking.
Apparently not.
And that's it.
They do the same thing with the like gameplay sometimes too, with like raising stakes without actually raising stakes. Like they have a very classic video game thing of a water rising while you're running away, but it's not actually rising. It's just like when you hit certain points, the water rises. Like the whole game freezes to show you a cutscene of the water rising again.
Yeah, which is a part of there is a thing in Water 7 called Aqua Laguna, and again, very important to the story. There's this crazy fucking storm that happens, and it raises the water level within Water 7. And basically, half of the city gets drowned out. So, like, where Frankie and all them are is completely underwater, and it's incredibly significant to the story. And they just barely say shit about it. They're just like, Aqua Laguna's here.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
That's not the experience I had, Tyler.
Exactly.
It's a footnote.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. God damn it.
And I can only imagine.
It's so frustrating. And then at the very end, they do the Going Merry thing where they show Going Merry like breaking apart, and it's like everybody's sad. Literally in the anime, if you watch that shit, there's no way that you watch that and don't cry, because like it's so significant to everybody, and like you see all this shit happen. And then like they're like, we got to add this just to say that we did it.
It was like a checkbox.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yep.
Like, remember that happened? Okay, let's move on.
Yep. But it's like, for you guys, you saw the Going Merry twice. Really?
And they're like, this used to be our old ship, but not anymore.
Yeah.
This is important for us. Okay. Bye, ship. Bye, ship.
Yeah, a real tell, don't show mentality throughout this game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys even remember gameplay wise, but was this boss of this area that he was like a Jaguar man, right? Cheetah man, something like that.
Yeah,
Rob Lucci. Okay, Rob Lucci, I believe you. Yep. That was like the biggest difficulty spike. I think the difficulty like flattened out after that and it was fine, but this guy took me like forever. It's not that I was ever close to dying, it just took so freaking long.
Yeah,
an issue.
Really. There were a couple instances we'll get to later specifically where, let's say, maybe this fight happens again. It just like a tedious amount of health where it's like, that happened like 3 particular times. Well, maybe 4. I'd say probably 4 times. They're like big boss moments at the end of certain chapters. It's like, okay, I just got done doing all this stuff, and so kind of like we were talking about before, like the only reason why it feels like this fight has stakes is because this boss has an obscene amount of hit points.
Yep.
Yeah. Like by the end of the game, it was fine, and I think it was just because I was using every tool. Like I was using food every single boss fight, and I was using the Usopp's like stat reducing things, basically reducing their defense, upping my attack. So I was doing stupid amounts of damage to where their stupid amount of hit points wasn't such a big deal. But if you're not using all those tools, like I can't imagine how long those boss fights must have taken, because they were still like probably 15
Ryan's
minutes.
got a timer.
Yeah, I timed the last boss fight because it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't remember it taking that long, but like Chris said, I used a lot of the tools, like using the defense, deep buff and all that shit. But I mean, it helps a lot. So, but I was pretty high leveled because I fought everything that I saw.
Me too.
So.
I was above what I found was recommended level for the final boss, and it still was. Just phase 2 was more than a half hour.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
I don't remember it taking that long.
Yeah,
I remember the other part of that section prior to when you're in the cubes doing the boss rush. That took forever.
Yeah, there was one
fight
in there.
I don't remember the final boss taking that long.
The first phase of the final boss took about 15 minutes, and the second phase took a little bit over a half hour. It was like a 45-minute final boss fight. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, which I will say, I don't think that's like completely insane for a JRPG, but because the combat is just so uninteresting here, and it's kind of rote, you're not really making strategic decisions.
It was insane.
It is a lot.
Because
so
I had the pattern down
easy.
after 2 rotations of combat, and then it was 45 minutes of do these exact same inputs.
Yeah, it's basically just a war of attrition. It's like who's gonna just run out first,
and the last
and you never
fight,
run out.
I was constantly, there was a period where he was doing like the AoE nuclear blast.
Yeah,
that was downing all but one of my people, and so I have to spend 3 rounds reviving everyone in preparation while he was doing it again. So it was just constantly like res chaining back and forth for like, I want to say 8 rounds to 9 rounds total. And that fight was like 25 rounds total by the end.
There are like meals and stuff that you can cook though.
I know.
Revive everybody.
I was cooking stuff. I was using that stuff. I burned through all my resources on that fight.
Yeah.
Just to like get through it. I was like, this sucks. This is just
that was not the worst fight for me at all. The Doflamingo fight in Dressrosa was the worst fight for me.
That one was a cakewalk for me.
Yeah,
the one where you fight the 2 versions, and it's like that one took forever because I didn't really use Usopp or anything. So, and when you're stuck with Usopp in that fight, I was like, I'm fucking getting shit on right now.
Yeah, were you guys like spending, frankly, an absurd amount of time on the accessories, like upgrading your accessories? Because I did do that as well, which I think helps, but it is a boring system that takes.
I upgraded some stuff pretty regularly, and I usually did like auto upgrading stuff, but it's a bad accessory system.
Yep, and I just did the balance. I was like, balance these bitches out.
I ended up doing that too.
Yeah, I had both Luffy and Zoro. Like I was doing all of them custom, but they're specifically almost everything they had equipped was just more attack power. So they were dealing stupid damage.
I think I had a balance, but there was a couple of them that I like when you add to them, you get like a bonus if like it matches up or whatever. That I would do like TP or whatever just so they had more, so I could just spam their fucking specials all the time. Because especially Zoro, like if you're spamming his, I can't remember, it's like Lion Song or something like that. It did so much fucking damage. It was ridiculous.
So that was ultimately in the last fight. That ended up being what I did was how I kind of managed to balance out the bullshit fight was what I was trying to do initially was using Zoro's like single target ultimate attack on the boss. That did like almost maybe 1,000 damage. And then I did his other one that was like AoE ultimate, and that took his shield down by 4/5 every time. I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense, but sure. And like I eventually found a rhythm that worked, but there was a lot of trial and error in the circumstances. Just at that point, I was just done and wanted it to be over, so I was trying to rush through it.
Yeah. Another note I have from chapter 4 is the Aokiji fight was fun. The guy that has the ice powers, if you remember him.
Yeah, he was cool. I'm gonna assume he's also a major character, but he
is. Yeah, he's one of the
underplayed here.
He's one of the 3 admirals of the Marines. He had a big part in the O'Hara incident in letting Nico Robin go, and so like in that moment again, it's very significant of him like freezing Luffy, and like that's the first time that their power is like really tested and like they get kind of fucked up. and they are shown their weakness. So it's pretty significant, and they try to show it, but again, it's lost. And that's just when it sucks, because that fight's cool and that character's cool, but then it's so fucked up with all the backtracking that follows that, where it's like, oh, okay, now we can play as Zoro, but we got to backtrack all the way to the fucking shoreline again,
and you can't use your fast travel
for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So after that, we had chapter 5, which was the Water Colossus and the Ice Block Ruins. I didn't have any notes on that. It was pretty straightforward. I didn't think
it was a dungeon.
Yeah, it was fine. You got water and ice mechanics. It was whatever.
This is the first time we see Audio control something's mind. He suddenly has the power to do, even though he said before that he could never touch living things or whatever. It's like, oh, wow, that doesn't seem like it's going to be used for evil.
Yeah.
But only things with no will. That's it. Totally honest.
Chekhov's gum power.
Yeah. I do love his power, though. The grab fruit, it's so cool. Like the idea behind it and stuff. It's I don't know if like Oda, who is the creator of One Piece, actually had anything to do with that, but it's a really interesting concept, because you definitely don't see anything like that in the anime. But again, it's just like, oh, this is also a part of his ability for some reason. It's like he can grab your mind. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
Whoever gets credits quicker at this point, right?
And then chapter 6 was the Paramount War. Did you guys get a sense of scale for that at all?
No, I actually fell asleep partway through.
Wow. It was the best chapter, mostly because it was short, and it was very cool, but I'm sure it's still 5,000 times as cool.
It's one of these things that's really, it's annoying to me, because Impel Down is a very important story arc for Luffy and Ace. And like his whole concept is like, after Enies Lobby, they find out that or Thriller Bark, which is after Enies Lobby, they find out that Ace is going to be executed. And he goes to Impel Down, which is a prison that he thinks Ace is held in. And that's like 50 episodes. It's a huge chunk of story of him like going into this prison, infiltrating this prison, trying to find Ace, and then finding out, oh, he's not there. I'm going to break out all these prisoners. He meets Jinbei. Him and Jinbei, they go to Marineford, and then they meet the Whitebeard pirates, and they go and rescue Ace. It's like all of that is lost. It's like they don't even talk about fucking Jinbei at all, really. And he's a huge fucking character. He's incredibly important.
We just get there, have like 4 or 5 fights, and then leave.
Yes. And then you see Ace die, but again, the whole thing with Jinbei is he saves Luffy from that situation and brings him out of there and saves his life and brings him back. And then like after that, they have a 2-year time jump where Luffy's like, we got fucked up there. Like, we're not strong enough. We need to take 2 years, train, come back, and then go after it, you know? And Jinbei is a huge part of that. And like, they don't even talk about him. It's so frustrating. Incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, this also has one of my least favorite things that I feel like we've talked about on this podcast a lot. But you're winning the fight against the boss, the final boss of this area, and then it just kicks you out of the fight and says, no, you lost.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, oh, actually, he's going to kick your ass. No, actually, I just kicked his ass. I saw his health deplete. So.
Yeah, it does a lot of that.
Forever. Oh, and then I have a note here. They call Jinbei, they do bring him up. They call him the first Knight of the Sea, but that's not his title. He's the first Son of the Sea. And so that really bothered me. I was like, that's not right. You guys wrote that wrong. It's not even correct, but whatever. But after chapter 6, we have chapter 7, which is Assemble the Straw Hat Pirates. This is when we're getting Brook back. And we got to go back to the cave that we were at the very beginning, because backtracking, and find some fucking mushrooms to levitate his body out of the fucking ocean.
Just got to get him high.
Yeah, and whoop-de-doo, you know? And then we get Brook for a whole 2 chapters.
Yeah, did you guys use either of the characters that we get at the end?
Yes.
A little.
I barely used them because I was already used to the squad that I was using.
I did just because I love those characters and I just wanted to see them. That is what I got the enjoyment out of, was the combat and just seeing those characters and using their specials. And I'm like, I know this, I know this, I know that, and just like seeing those being used, that was fun for me. Everything else was trash.
I think the combat is like the most fun part of the game. It's just unfortunate that it's not strong enough to carry it through its runtime.
Correct. So after we get Brooke, we have Chapter A, which is Dressrosa. I love Dressrosa. That story arc is so cool. Again, all context is completely lost. Like the scope of Doflamingo and his family and what they have done to this island and what Doflamingo has done to the world is completely lost. Like, you guys have no idea of like the smile fruit or what he does with Kaido or any of that stuff, which is all talked about in that arc, that storyline. They don't even mention it. They're just like, oh, we got to kick Doflamingo's ass. And like,
There's
for
a
whatever
big
reason.
robot statue man.
Yeah. Pika. Which is, again, a super crazy fight in the show. And they're just like, now everybody's going to fight him. But in the show, it's just Zoro. Zoro fights that fucking mountain dude by himself.
I believe it.
So
there's a part where Lim is like asking the rest of the team questions here about like what the hell is going on, and they're like trying to explain it with all these proper nouns that she doesn't know, and she's just still really confused. And it's like, that is 100% like Lim is the insert for all the non One Piece fans trying to play this game.
Yeah,
definitely the audience surrogate. Like, what? Okay.
Yeah, so like for Dressrosa, I mean the big thing there is like, if you go against the government or whatever, they turn you into a toy, and they make you work in the factories and the warehouses to like store smile fruit and like harvest weapons and ammunition for like the other warlords and shit like that. And then like but once they're turned into a toy, they're also forgotten about. So like all these people kind of remember that they had a parent, but they don't know what happened to them. So they kind of hint at what is the girl from the Coliseum? The pink-haired girl.
Rebecca,
thank you. Her dad gets turned into like a one-legged soldier because he sacrifices his leg to save her life when she's younger. And like, it's a super powerful emotional thing. And it's so fucking frustrating.
I will say that chapter at least had a lot of narrative potential in being cool. Like, there were a lot of parts that seemed interesting.
All of it's so good.
Yeah,
it's all
like,
so good.
Characters were cool. There was cool stuff going on. It was just like, it's too condensed.
Yeah, and they talk about Usopp fighting that one girl who turns everybody into toys and like
eating the pepper.
Yeah, and like that's what happens. And like,
that's good.
From that point, he ends up getting the title of God Usopp, because like there are all these like tiny little like elf characters that help them fight in this arc, and they look at him like a god for like bringing everybody back, and they call him God Usopp from that point on. And it's like all that stuff is lost, and like the stuff with Corazon and Trafalgar Law. Trafalgar is like a huge part of the story, and like his emotional attachment to Corazon is so crazy important. And it's just like, oh, we're gonna bring Corazon back for the people who know who he is, and for everybody else, it's just like, there's this guy.
There's a weird like memory ghost thing.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy this guy that kind of looks like Joker.
Anyway, let's traumatize you again real quick. Bye.
It's frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, other notes I have of this chapter, I like the guy that says, "Wee ha ha ha." He's pretty cool. I don't know if he's actually from the anime, but he's like the weird wrestler guy that's like, I don't know, he was about to fight Rebecca.
Yeah, Burgess. His name is Burgess. He's part of the Blackbeard Pirates.
Okay. Yeah, I just like that he says that because it's really dumb.
He's also not in Dressrosa at all. So
okay.
That makes sense.
Yep, that was super fun when he showed up. I think he might be in the Coliseum, I think, but that's about it. But I don't even remember him really being in the Coliseum.
And then I also like that Law is the first person in this entire game that sees Lim and is like, who the fuck is she and what is she doing here? Like, nobody else gave a shit.
Yeah. I think Vivi says something about her in Alabasta.
Does she? I don't remember.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, Trafalgar Law is an incredibly cool character, and I wish they would have done more with him in this game, because... And it's the same with Cavendish. Like, it's super cool that Cavendish is a part of the game in, like, a weird way, and, like, he can fight with you. But again, like, his character arc and stuff is totally lost, and, like, there's another character who is obsessed with Luffy. His name is Bartolomeo. Completely not in this chapter for whatever reason. Incredibly important, but just not involved, and I don't get their choice.
It's so that character doesn't get in the way from you really sinking in the narrative of everything else that's going on. Like, it would just distract you.
I guess. And, like, there's a huge storyline with Frankie and this I can't remember his name, but it's this guy who wears a baby bib on his head, and, like, there's a huge story arc with them, and it's incredibly awesome. But
sound like Yakuza now.
Yeah, it's God, I can't remember his name. I think his name is just El Senor, but it's super good. It's just completely lost in this section.
That's a good name.
I'm looking it up. Hold on, I don't remember his name. Senor Pink is his name.
That's not as good as El Senor.
Yeah, it's Senor Pink. And his, like, story is, like, they give a crazy backstory to him. You're like, why is this fucking guy wearing a baby bib? And it turns out he wears a baby bib because his wife and him had a baby and it died and she went, like, catatonic. And so to make her, like, show any type of emotion, he put a baby bib on, like the one that their child wore, to, like, show, like, so she would be happy again. It's like, that's a crazy, emotional, fucking weird thing to happen for this guy.
That's not how that works.
And it's all lost. It's not there. It's fuck. I hate this fucking game. God damn it.
World of One Piece therapists really badly.
Dude, One Piece is super fucked up. It's crazy fucked up. You know, it's really goofy looking, and, like, a lot of the characters have weird designs, but, like, they goes into, like, so much shit with, like, genocide and, like, racism and, like, children being killed and death and disease. It's crazy fucked up.
Yeah,
you would never know. You would never know by playing the game, that's for sure.
Nope.
This game sucks. I hate it. After Dressrosa, that brings us to chapter 9, which is the final chapter.
We're here.
I have no notes on chapter 9, except the very end is trash, where it's like,
9.
Oh, hey, let's beat the final boss. Assemble your fucking crew.
Chapter 9 is the worst chapter in this game.
Hands down, easily. A game filled with backtracking, and they give us a boss rush.
Backtracking fights.
You know what sucks is I really loved it up into the point where you get to the dungeon with all the cubes, like where you're going through all those cliffs and stuff. I like that little section. And then you get to the cubes and you're like, this is the dumbest fucking thing ever. And, like, that boss rush is terrible. And then it's like, boss rush, okay, you're done with that, but immediately fight the final boss. So it's basically just continuing the boss rush. And then as soon as it's over, you're like, okay, I'm done. Credits. Nope. If you want to really be done, make sure you go talk to all your fucking crew members who are scattered all over the entire fucking island again. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also it's another, like, F you to Brooke and Frankie, because every other character you have to go find and talk to and bring back, but Brooke and Frankie are just already by the ship and they don't get their little, like, end of the game scene.
It's, god damn it, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, the whole ending was, like, really confusing, didn't really make sense. Like, there was a buster call on the island, but then I guess because Audio leaves with the divine breath, they call off the buster call or he killed all the Marines. I don't know exactly what happened.
I think that is what it was alluded to, is that he fucked them all up.
Yeah, that's what it was. It looked like was that he was just murking everybody.
Yeah, except for Smoker, who is just, like, hanging out in the distance, not doing anything for no reason.
And, like, killed but didn't kill. But
them.
deliberately like shot her in a place where it wouldn't actually kill her because he knew who she was.
But that wasn't really Lim. That was just a memory.
It was a memory and a copy. But
yeah, we didn't even talk about like Red Eye Lim. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, there's red Lim and blue Lim, and red Lim is the real one apparently, and blue one is the copy. And they're just a part of the security protocol to detect the divine breath. Cool.
Sounds right.
Yep. Convolution. Some Kingdom Hearts.
And then they're like, "Oh, you're not really a bad guy, Audio,
Kingdom
because
Hearts
if you
is
were
perfect compared to this crap."
But I love that.
Just saying, it's convoluted as hell.
He's like, "You're not really a bad guy because if you were, you would have killed her for real." The motherfucker shot her. Who cares? If my friend shoots me in the stomach, I'm not fucking friends with you anymore. Period. I'm not waiting for you to come back to the treehouse. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there's like a post game quest here that they tell you about with like something with yellow orbs. I assume none of us touched that at all. I have no idea what it is, but
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I did credits and immediately uninstalled it. I was like, I'm so sick of it.
Exactly what I did.
Yep, I uninstalled it, and then I bought a physical copy, so I even got to sell it, get it out of my house. Can never exist in my house again.
Good, you had that catharsis. I will have to always have that on my hard drive.
Yeah, whenever I look at my library on my PS5, I see it sitting there. Like, do you want to re-download this? No, I don't.
I should hide it on my Steam library.
Speaking of Steam library, I'm looking at your review. Right now
Read it. Let's hear it.
Okay. Poor design choices, bad balancing, and a boring battle system. If you're a big fan of One Piece, you may find more to like in this game, but as someone who is interested but uninitiated, stay away from this title. Bad pacing right from the start of the game. Fights are so straightforward. I played 2/3 of this game with auto battle on, and the other third only because I couldn't stand to see the auto battle be so dumb. Fights in the last half of this game are so tedious that you can auto battle, go make a sandwich, come back, eat it, and the fight will still be going. Not because they're genuinely hard enemies, just have more health than particles in the universe. The art direction is phenomenal, the music is good, the story's all right. Although very condensed from the anime, I presume it felt like a lot was missing. If you really want to play this, do yourself a favor and wait for a steep sale. And it's on sale for $40 instead of $60. That's not steep enough.
It's not enough.
No.
Gotta be like $10.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth the price.
I wouldn't recommend playing this game even if it was on Game Pass.
It's not worth the price of your time.
Yeah, exactly. It's not worth the time.
Because you're not going to get anything out of it. Like, as a One Piece fan, I got nothing out of it. Like, there were moments where I was like, that's cool. Corazone's back. Or, I remember that moment. Oh, why isn't this here? Why isn't this here? But that's it. You know, there was nothing worthwhile. So it's frustrating.
I bet. It was a newcomer to One Piece. It made me. It succeeded in making me interested in One Piece, both the anime and the manga, but not worth $60 of being an onboarding for that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, okay, now I have a very, very, very rudimentary understanding of story beats in this series.
Yeah, exceptionally rudimentary.
I wouldn't even go that far, to be honest with you. It's just, it's all lost. I think all the nuance is completely lost in the storytelling. It's bad.
Oh, for sure. Like their nuance does not exist in this game.
Do you guys have a final score for it?
5. Straight up to 5.
5, yeah.
Yeah, 5.
It is the game you use to
go for 4
to know what other games are in quality. Like it helps define quality in other games.
Yes, it is not like straight up broken or anything. It's not like
it's a functional game.
I never had to spend a lot of time grinding or anything like that. You know, there are things that it does not do wrong. There's just very little that it does right or well.
And it has potential. It just never fulfills it.
Mm-hmm. Nor does it capitalize on any of its best ideas in a tangible or meaningful way.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what game is really good so far? Tales of Arise.
Oh yeah?
That's a good game.
Great game.
It's a great.
Let's just talk about a good game for 1 minute.
It's nice having, because I was reluctant to pick it up because it was on sale for $20 on PSN.
Oh my god, that's such a good sale. Holy shit.
Right. So I was like, I wanted to get this game when I first saw it because I was interested in the Tales series, but I tried Tales of Symphonia briefly. I was like, I can see what this is doing. It's an older game. It doesn't feel good to play. But I liked what I saw when Tales of Arise was like announced and showcased, and I just didn't get around to it. And then I was like, well, I was reluctant. I asked a couple people who had picked it up, like their thoughts on it, and I was like, well, my only concern is I just played One Piece Odyssey, and like it's not the same game, but it is like an anime ass RPG, and
No, but it's good. that's the difference. It's good. It's a good game.
right. But the reason why it's good is like it is similarly gorgeous, sure, but on top of that, like the combat is actually very engaging moment to moment constantly. The characters are more intriguing, even if there's plenty of tropes and archetypes and all that stuff. It's fine. The narrative is pretty interesting, and it takes its time to start pacing stuff out, and like the music's great. The systems, like the like upgrading systems for like your equipment and everything, it's still a little bit more engaging. Like just overall, and like you can fast travel like from essentially the first couple hours, and it essentially doesn't take it away from you, and like it encourages you to fast travel to other
I hope you
locations.
finish it because the end of that game is
I
absolutely
want to.
fucking. It's so fucking wild.
I'm
the end of that game is
enjoying.
fucking crazy.
I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah,
And
Chris and
so
I
it's a
beat that
nice.
game, and
It's a nice change
really
of
good.
pace.
Yeah,
It's a nice change of pace for sure. And like,
Yeah.
just the combat system alone, so much fun.
yeah.
I think it is. I think it is objectively like the best Tales game. Might not be my
Yes.
favorite just because I have memories of playing co-op in a lot of
Sure.
them, and this one is the first one that was not co-op. But
That's what I understand.
this one wouldn't really work co-op with the changes they made to the battle system. So
Sure.
I've only played 3 of them, and that's my favorite for sure. I mean, it's so good. The characters are all super unique and fun, and the combat's amazing. The world is beautiful and gorgeous, and like the story is just incredibly fun going through and taking down all those warlords basically. And the ending where it ends though is so fucking nuts. It does some anime shit, and I love it. It's so
I
good.
believe it. It
Also,
already starts with some anime shit when he pulls out a flaming sword out of her chest and like
it's so
sets
good.
like an army on fire. I was like, cool.
And
That's
the opening is like the anime opening is so good, and the music is incredible.
Yeah, it felt very much like starting an anime series.
And Hootle is cute as fuck.
Yeah, agreed. It's endearing. It's fun.
Play that. Don't play One Piece Odyssey. Play that.
Yeah, pick it up on super sale.
$20 is a fucking steal.
Exactly. I was like, I can't not pick this up now, and I'm especially for $20. I'm very much enjoying the dichotomy from that into this.
Well, that brings us to the end of One Piece Odyssey. Does anybody have anything to plug, Chris?
Anything to plug? Yeah, follow us on Twitch. Friendly Fire Pod, Games Pod. Okay, Friendly Fire Pod. Yeah, we're streaming Wasted sometimes. We're getting back to it in a week or so.
Yeah, we're waiting for Tom to get back. He's got a crazy schedule right now. I don't know what we're gonna play next. I think we're gonna stop with Anthem.
Are you guys doing it next weekend as of this recording? Because there's Diablo 4 beta, open beta.
I think so, but I don't know what we're playing yet. We haven't talked about it yet.
Diablo 4 open beta.
So we'll
see. Some Diablo sounds pretty good.
I don't know. I got to pull Tom away from Destiny. He's like balls deep in Destiny right now. So
I mean,
yes.
So are Ryan and
I. So maybe maybe Tom and Ryan and Rob can all play Destiny together for Wasted. There you go.
Yeah.
That'd be
But
fun.
otherwise, Ryan is streaming Kingdom Hearts every Tuesday.
That's right.
With Dory, and then we stream like the big announcement events and stuff like that when we can as well. Those are always fun reaction streams.
And at some point, we're going to get back to the Friendly Fire podcast.
Y'all released one.
We released one. That was about 4 weeks ago. We're like, this is going to be a weekly show.
But in the context of like One Piece, the last One Piece gameplay.
Oh, we've had a terrible schedule.
You did, but you did record one episode, which was your goal.
Yep,
we did.
We got
so
it.
It happened.
But, we definitely need to record more. It's our main show. It's supposed to be our main show, but we're trying to get to it. We're all so fucking crazy busy right now.
Life is interesting that way, man. I feel
yeah, it is. Rob, you got anything to plug, man?
So, Preston and I talked a while back about kicking up the YouTube channel for Draft Punks, and he got a bug up his butt to start doing it, and so he's been kind of spearheading that, and I've been joining him alongside some of it. We've got some projects in the works. The most recent one is Preston and Ryan have been playing Destiny Lightfall together, and that's been some of the video series that they've been doing. And then I played through Dead Cells Return to Castlevania, which is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, I saw that they released that. So.
It's so good. It's so good. But we talked about that for about half an hour to an hour, and put up a video on that, and we'll be doing some more series, maybe some Halo, maybe some more Destiny. But you can catch that on YouTube, youtube.com/@RealDraftPunks, because YouTube is weird now. Twitch.tv/RealDraftPunks. Real Draft Punks basically everywhere. And they do episodes on the podcast, which I haven't been on for a little bit because I haven't had the schedule for it. But yeah, we're doing content again. It's great.
The content
never sleeps.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching or listening to this episode of the Friendly Fire Games Exploration Show. We'll be back with another game or another video sometime soon. So thank you.
We can finally sleep.
No. I'm glad that we can put this to bed. God damn it, I'm glad this is over.
To whatever spirit in the universe didn't want us to record this podcast, go to hell. All right, we fucking did it.
We got it. It's over with. We did it.
Oh, you didn't quote Tom, his GIF. I don't know how you quote that exactly,
right.
but
SpongeBob stinky smell.
Yeah, SpongeBob Stinky Pants is what we'll call it.
We asked Tom his thoughts, and he sent back SpongeBob's, basically saying it stinks.
He's been telling us to fart into a mic for the last 3 weeks, and that's good enough. And I agree. So
yeah, should we give some fart noises for the people to hear?
I'll get some fart noises in. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's good.
There's my fart noise. All right. Whoa, was that a trumpet?
That was a trumpet.
All right, got a trumpet fart over here.
Got a trumpet in your pocket?
Chris is looking skinny as fuck. We should all acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Lost a lot of weight, man.
Yep. You're
Appreciate
good,
it.
man.
Thank you.
Yep.
Putting in that good hard work.
Oh yeah.
Put that at the beginning of the episode or the end of the episode. Chris is just looking incredibly handsome, knocking us all out of the water. It's embarrassing.
Killing it.
I need to go to the gym now.